Is this your eyebrow where it's pretty sparse, but it's a pretty good shape as well? You don't want to put too much color in your eyebrows. So the after, why is it beautiful? Because you see mostly the hair. You don't see a lot of the color more than it's a really good brow shape. You see all the brow hairs. So I'm going to show you how to bring out some of those hairs that you might not know you have. So if that is you, then you want to stick around for this brow video. Hey everybody, it's Jasmine, your brow expert. Thank you so much for joining me. I call myself a brow expert because I've been shaping eyebrows for over 25 years. I'm still at the Anastasia salon in Beverly Hills shaping eyebrows. What I do is I wax, I tweeze, I help you choose the best color for you. So definitely come by and get your best brow. Why I did this channel is so that you guys can pick up just little tricks and tips here and there. When I show my clients, just do this up here or do a tiny bit down here. It makes such a big difference. So just focus on that. Try not to overwhelm yourself in trying to get that perfect eyebrow, because the more you try to do that, the more the brows does not look perfect. It actually looks more uneven or just kind of too much on your eyebrows, right? So, and as we age, little goes a long way. So I hope that helps, and definitely subscribe if you haven't done so already. That definitely helps me. And so without further ado, let's get to the model. Now I'm pointing the middle part of the eyebrow because it's a little bit higher, it's a little too thin, and the rest of the eyebrow right over here is very sparse. So that is really where I'm going to mainly work on. Also the front of the eyebrow, because you can see it's further out, but I'll show you that in just a second. Here the brows are mostly concentrated. We all have eyebrow areas where we have most of our hair growing in, like maybe up in the front or right in that middle area. That is the most concentrated area. That is where you avoid putting too much color. So know where you have most of your hair and try to avoid that area. Here, as you can see with the measurement, you can tell, even after obviously looking at the after, how far in the brows are, right? So just by holding in the middle of the nostril, 90 degrees, that's how far the brow should come in. But realistically, because it's all about being as real as possible, right? You can't have it that far in, otherwise it just looks too overly done. So here I'm using the dip brow gel. There's many different types of tinted brow gels. We have volumizing brow gel, we have dip brow gel, tinted brow gel. Whatever type of tint gel there is, that is what you want to choose. And I can always help you with that. But with this hair color, if you're my hair color, ash brown is the best. So here I'm just kind of showing you real quickly. This is a good idea. Fill in your eyebrows or put a ton of gel on your hair. You're going to see a lot more come to life in the areas you might have not thought you had hair. Obviously here I'm going to show you the wax and make such a big difference, but I say obvious because I don't want you to do this at home. It's not something I'm encouraging everyone to wax their own eyebrows, because you could easily tear or burn your skin. I just wanted you to see what a big difference that just makes. Okay, so try filling them in, put some dip brow gel around, and then tweeze maybe some of the hairs that are not in that main area. Makes such a big difference, right? Okay, so, and I'm going to start all over, but this is why I want you to try to fill them in with the gel or a pencil and then tweeze some unwanted hairs. Look at this. This is actually where obviously she has no makeup on yet. And once it's properly shaped down below, it really makes such a big difference, right? It almost looks like she has some makeup on her eyebrows, or maybe she has a little bit of residue from the gel. Okay, so let's start this over. When you get the gel, you notice that I start at the middle because the first application is always going to be your heaviest and can get a little messy. So you want to start at the middle and then work your way towards the end. Don't worry about the front yet. That's when you want to just go for it. You notice right here I press a little harder. This is where it's mostly skin than hair. So, and that's where you can afford to go a little heavier pressure. Even with the brush, if you press a little harder, obviously you can see right here, it gets a little darker. So you press right here harder and you go in reverse. So that way you catch all the hair. Here, I'm going to add a little bit of hair strokes up in the front. Now, always have like a clean spoolie brush just to smooth out any edges, right? Right here, I'm going to use the brush because, let me put a little bit here. And so you could see on me the difference, right? The reason I'm going to use a brush and a tiny bit of that gel, you can also put it on your hand, like a little bit here, and then grab it from the brush. Right here, a tiny bit will go a long way, okay? This is where I create these little hair strokes up in the front. You can have that imaginary line or draw a little line in that area that I showed you earlier with that mark. And then right here, I'm adding a little bit more lines just to add extra texture. So the front, longest part of the tip of the brush, there is that long part of the brush and then the short part. Use the longest part and you're dragging it from the bottom and up. You don't have to have it perfect, guys. No worry about having it perfect because you could always erase some of that later. If you're right-handed, you're doing your other eyebrow this way, right? See, light pressure is all you need right up here. And inside that pocket, if you want to add a little bit more texture meaning, of course, those little lines, just gives it that more believable look. So if it gets messy and you're like, what do I do? I could see my eyebrows now. Just use that highlighter with the brush 18. You guys see me do this all the time, right? So use that highlighter underneath. You could also use it above, especially if you're on the lighter side of the skin tone. And then clean it up, right? So you can use, excuse me, you can use a little bit of powder. You can use a little bit of pencil to go inside, maybe some of the areas that you're more comfortable using a pencil. But the dip brow or a volumizing tinted brow gel sometimes is all you need because the hair was caught with the color, right? And then a little bit of just lines, meaning hair stroke lines, in and around the eyebrows is all you need. Don't feel like you need to cover your whole eyebrows, okay? That, I think, is the biggest mistake. The clear brow gel, it's optional, but sometimes this has no color, right? This will keep up the hair much higher and fuller. Okay, so again, I'm pointing this out because those are the 3 areas I want you to focus on. And most of us have that. The front is the weakest. Right here, here in the middle is the weakest because we tend to over tweeze in that area. And towards the end, as we age, we lose more hair there. If you have thyroid, some sort of alopecia, this is also weak. And up in the front, we can lose more hair. So the most, like I said, is the concentrated area right in that top middle area. That's the most concentrated area. So, and that is the area I don't focus as much on. So keep that in mind. Make sure that you're even light-handed with the gel. It's all about light hand, right? And it's all about starting at the middle, towards the end, work your way towards the front. So that way you don't overly do it, which is so important, right? So all you need in this video is a tinted brow gel, maybe a little bit of highlighter and the brush just to get that clean professional look. But just focus on getting some of the gel because that bristle, the little mascara bristle, will catch some of the hairs that you may not think you had. So also keep that in mind. I still get some clients telling me that they have a brow gel, they haven't used it or they used it once or twice. I encourage them and all of you to get in the habit of using a tinted gel because as we age, our hairs get thinner. It's not as thick. It's not as robust. You have maybe more hair fuzz and that you can use as a brow hair. Why not? So the mascara wand, which all of them have, some are just shaped differently. That doesn't matter because this will catch the hair. That will just make it look obviously like you have a lot more brow hair. So I want you to try that. Try not to though. This is really important. I say this all the time is don't treat your eyebrows like you treat your mascara because my mascara, I put a ton on my eyelashes because I like my lashes to be long and thick. Your brows, you want them to be full and thick, but if you overly do it on your eyebrows, trust me, it can get thick and crusty and taking it off can be a challenge and then you can lose some hair. So it could be your best friend, I often say, or it could be not. So get in the habit of using it, but don't use it too much because of that bristle. It's so easy to overdo it, right? But let me know if you like your tinted gel, if you have started on it, or you might do that. And I will list all the makeup and on me as well, the makeup I have on me in the description, so don't worry about that. Not every product, unfortunately, comes on when I search it on my YouTube link. Which all of the products will be on, but that's why the descriptions are important and you subscribing is important. So thank you for engaging with me. I will try to answer as many questions as I can. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for always letting me know where you're watching me from. That's also fun for me. And so I will see you guys next week.